So here's the story on the lift, guys. I had a 10,000 pound 2-post lift ordered. I went with a low rise or a low post lift because the sides of my building, it's a dome building, so it's like this. So the taller that post is, the further you have to come out from the wall. I wanted to have a full 2 lanes here in the shop. So that was an obstacle, picking the right lift. Once we had the lift come in, I had to figure out how to get it off the truck. So luckily there's a couple guys here in town. They have a big front end loader and they have forks for it. So I was able to time everything. Everyone worked together. They were here on site when the truck pulled up. I wish I had got footage of that, but I was so involved with strapping it up and getting it off the truck and everything, it just didn't happen. So we had the lift here on the floor. Now we were facing an even bigger obstacle, which is the biggest obstacle. So this big, beautiful slab here, the whole length, the entirety of the building, the entirety of the slab is run with water lines. In-floor heating, which is really nice, but as you can imagine, poses a big problem. These lifts mount with huge bolts drilled deep into the concrete floor. You can see where we're going here, what the issue is. So in a floor that I didn't pour, and I don't have a map on, we have to drill a substantial number of large diameter holes deep into the concrete and not puncture those water lines. And once they become punctured, once you drill down through one of those, you have a big issue. Now we have a big wood boiler furnace here. Pipes run underline into some water manifolds that's piped all through the floor. This building has been vacant for a number of years. All those water lines are dry. We're on a well up here. This floor system takes about 600 gallons of water. So there's really only one way to fill up that boiler. Fire truck is here today, guys, filling up the boiler. Because we need to find where those lines are in the floor. So that's what we're going through with now. Water. Oh, that's a nice steady flow there now. So now the fire department has been here. We have the boiler filled. We have all of our lines bled for air. Everything's all set up, ready to go. I light a roaring fire in here, and we're on standby with those circulator pumps running, and I'm waiting with a thermal imaging camera. Now, instead of mapping the entire floor and then going around the lift, where do we want it, we put the lift basically where we figured it should be. Ran in with the vehicle a few times, felt it all out, got it pretty much where we wanted it. And then we just had to watch the floor in that area. You can see, guys, we're starting to be able to see those lines there in the floor. That blue dot right on the crosshairs there now is right where the paint can was. I just kicked the paint can over. But you can start to see, that seems like the hottest run, the easiest to see. It looks like it runs straight over direct from the manifold. Hey? I'm just going to put a little funny mark there. Okay, try, because it's going to disappear probably when you get... okay, now I see it go over that way a little bit more. Hold on, I'm going to come over a little closer to you. Let me just show you guys what we've got going on here. So you can see the lift base here. You can see, there we go, right there. There's a line passing through. We have 3 lines right there. 1, 2, 3. Looks like we're starting to get a few more come into sight. But there's the manifold. So those are the straight runs right from the manifold. You can very clearly see a line running right there. Probably 1 or 2 beside it, looks like. Had we have taken a gamble on it, we would have drilled a number of bolts right straight down through water lines. But we were able to see on the thermal imaging camera, you can see there now, just where those lines were running in the floor. It worked really nicely, just as we wanted it to. We were able to see those lines running to the floor, and we just needed to shift the lift around just a few inches to get it right in the sweet spot. Now the lift came with all metric bolts. Could not find the right concrete bit anywhere because it had to be, what was it, M160 or something like that. And of course everything here in concrete terms is all standard dimension. So I had to go and get all new floor bolts before we could install. That was a delay. We started then with my brother's. My brother has a nice hammer drill, but a smaller size one, not a big construction grade. So after starting a few holes with a small drill, we decided we were going to need something heavier to do the amount of drilling here. So I had to go and rent a big, like I said, a big Bosch, I believe it was, construction grade hammer drill. You know, these big two-hander jobs. And we were able to drill those holes and set those concrete anchors in the ground. Now my brother single-handedly did all the assembly on this, putting all the pumps together, running the hoses, the cables and all this stuff. I did the electricals, all wired in, filled up the pump. By the way, odd type of oil, so it took a little bit. We had to go quite a ways out of town and get just the right oil because it uses something that's uncommon and wasn't able to get around here. So it's just all of these little hiccups, and when you're in a rural location, those things can take so much time. You know, the closest place I could get new bolts of this dimension was 2 hours and 15 minutes away at this one hardware store in particular that had it. Called around and found a site that had something that could suit something of this scale. At that point, it was time for the big moment, the trial run. So I brought in my my little car. We went with the lightest machine we had in the fleet. We just said we'll play around with that. It's the least valuable machine, so in terms of setup, if something did happen, wouldn't be a huge issue, but took our time, sized everything up, watching everything, checking everything, and everything was just flawless. Our first lock. We've been using this lift since. Just a couple hours after that testing run, we threw Dad's full-size crew cab Ford up on there. My brother did a rear brake caliper and replaced some bracketry there, I believe. The next morning, we had a car here in to have some work done on it. So money making work already. There's been multiple jobs already, even though we're not open yet. That won't be till early September. But my brother's just helping out some people that are in a pinch and hoping to get work done as soon as possible. So it has been making money. It has been working flawlessly. And I was able to use it just this morning to change the oil on my own truck, and what luxury. That's about as bad of a drain plug location as you can get, guys. So as you can see, guys, although a bit of an arduous process, a bit of a journey, that lift is in, and it just running beautifully. Still being careful with it and checking everything and managing everything for anything shifting or moving, changes in the pump, fluid levels, anything like that. But it has been flawless. Just a great install so far. As you can see, this is the heaviest thing that's been on it, which is a full-size crew cab 4-wheel drive pickup. Closest to the heaviest we'll have on it, except for maybe an occasional like 3/4 ton or something like that might come in. But it's just been wonderful, and what luxury to have this for ourselves. It's a great asset to me and to the family here, but of course this shop, as a working shop, wonderful asset to my business, to the towns here. Just very exciting.